Alyssa Liu weighs in on people shaming Eileen Gu for repping China at the Winter Olympics. Gold medalist Alyssa Liu is in the thick of her post-Olympics press tour in the US, and America's sweetheart took a moment to defend another Chinese-American athlete, Eileen Gu. In case you need a refresher, the free skier, who was born in the US but has competed for China since 2019, received backlash for not representing Team USA at this year's Winter Olympics. During a recent interview with the New York Times, Alyssa was asked about the scenario as a Chinese-American who competed as a Team USA figure skater. Her take: honestly iconic. I've known Eileen since I was 13 or something. We're from the Bay Area. She's super nice, and her mom is from China, the gold medalist said, adding that she thinks people are hypocritical for shaming her for representing China. So in my head it's a bit hypocritical, because her mom is an immigrant. You would have told her to go back to China. Now that they are back in China, you're mad, she explained with a laugh. Alyssa continued, "It doesn't matter what country we represent. Sport is sport, and she has a love for competition. She has love for the game. I think that's all that matters. There's no shame in going to where opportunity is." Eileen officially became the most decorated female freeskier in Olympic history after winning second place in the freeski slopestyle event on February 16th. She opened up about her history of competing for Team China at a press conference after the event, saying, "I'm here because I want to be, not just because it's the default option for me. I've said if I wanted to retire and feel good about myself for the rest of my life, I could, but I don't because I love this sport now more than ever." The five-time Olympic medalist added, "The feeling of pushing past who I was yesterday and becoming a little bit better tomorrow is something that is truly addictive and something that I'm so in love with. I think last Olympics was an opportunity and this Olympics is a privilege. We love to see queens supporting queens." Alyssa Liu weighs in on people shaming Eileen Gu for repping China at the Winter Olympics. The Winter Olympics have always been about more than medals. Beneath the dazzling performances, gravity-defying tricks, and emotional podium moments lies something deeper: identity, culture, and the complex stories behind the athletes who compete. Few Olympic debates have captured this complexity as clearly as the controversy surrounding freestyle skiing superstar Eileen Gu and her decision to represent China instead of the United States. When criticism against Gu resurfaced during the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milan Cortina, another young champion stepped into the conversation: Olympic figure skating gold medalist Alyssa Liu. Instead of fueling the debate, Liu chose to challenge the criticism itself, calling out what she described as hypocrisy and reminding the public that athletes are people navigating complex cultural identities. Her remarks didn't just defend a friend. They sparked a broader reflection on nationality, belonging, and what it really means to represent a country on the Olympic stage. Two stars, two flags, one shared story. At first glance, Alyssa Liu and Eileen Gu appear almost like mirror images. Both were born and raised in California's San Francisco Bay Area. Both are children of Chinese heritage. Both became prodigies in winter sports dominated by Western nations. And both rose to international fame before they were even old enough to vote. Yet their Olympic paths diverged. Liu chose to represent Team USA, eventually capturing gold in women's figure skating and the team event at the 2026 Winter Olympics. Gu, meanwhile, made headlines years earlier when she decided to represent China, the homeland of her mother. Since switching in 2019, she has become one of the most successful freestyle skiers in Olympic history, winning multiple medals across 2 games. The difference in their national representation sparked endless comparisons online. To some observers, the two athletes symbolized the tension between the United States and China. But to Liu, the comparison was missing the point. The controversy around Eileen Gu's decision to compete for China was controversial almost from the beginning. Born in San Francisco and educated in the United States, Gu grew up in a bicultural household, American through her upbringing and Chinese through her mother. In 2019, at just 15 years old, she announced she would represent China in international competitions. The move brought enormous opportunities. Gu became a superstar in China, inspiring millions of young athletes and helping popularize winter sports in a country with relatively limited skiing tradition. At the same time, critics in the United States questioned her loyalty and motives. Some suggested she switched countries for financial opportunities. Others argued that someone raised in America should represent Team USA. During the 2026 Olympics, political figures and commentators again criticized Gu's decision, reigniting the debate across social media and news outlets. For Gu, however, the decision had always been personal. She has explained that representing China allowed her to inspire a new generation of skiers and expand the sport globally, something she felt passionate about since childhood. But public opinion rarely settles for simple explanations. The conversation grew louder, more political, and more polarized. That's when Alyssa Liu stepped in. Alyssa Liu's response, calling out the hypocrisy. During a post-Olympics interview, Liu was asked about the criticism directed at Gu. Instead of avoiding the topic, she addressed it directly. Liu said she thought the backlash was hypocritical, pointing out the contradiction in how people talk about immigrants and identity. In essence, Liu highlighted a double standard. On one hand, immigrant families are sometimes told they should go back to their ancestral homeland. On the other hand, when someone with immigrant roots embraces that heritage, they can be criticized for not being loyal enough to the country they were born in. For Liu, the criticism against Gu ignored the complexity of identity in a multicultural world. She also emphasized that she personally knows Gu, describing her as a kind and genuine person. The two athletes have known each other since their teenage years, growing up in the same region and navigating similar cultural experiences. In Liu's view, reducing Gu's story to a political debate misses the human side of the decision. The reality of dual identity. The debate surrounding Gu reveals something deeper about modern sports.